in today's video, I'm going to talk about my battle with anxiety and how bad it got, and actually some stuff that might surprise you. So this video's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, this channel's all about Guernsey, but I want to give you a little bit of insight into me and the trouble I've had with anxiety, mainly because a lot of people are speaking about it now, and it relates quite a lot to having a YouTube channel and how it may help and sometimes it didn't help. So if you're interested in finding out how bad it got, you'll probably like this video. If you're not interested in anxiety and anything about it, then don't watch it. But if this can help anyone, it's the same old thing. If this helps anyone, it's worth doing. So it all started for me. Well, actually, I'll backtrack. I was always fine, right? And I sort of, when people said to me they suffered with anxiety, I just thought they were a bit like worried. I thought they were nervous. I didn't really get it. I mean, I had been always a nervous child. I mean, my mum would tell you that whenever I changed teacher at school when I was young, maybe infants and junior school, I always didn't sleep, and I had, you know, my mum wanted to drag me to school. I didn't want to go in because my teacher had changed, and I used to get very unsettled. And looking back at that now, I think this was all part of what happened to me later on. But at the time, you know, it was just like, oh, Ross is nervous, Ross worries, he doesn't like things, and he doesn't like anything changing. And even like when we went on holiday as a child, I remember like being very nervous, sleeping in another bed in a hotel, stuff like that. So anyway, that sort of all disappeared for me when I got older. I mean, I still got a little bit I didn't know it was anxiety. I got a bit nervous and stuff when I had to go places, and also looking back, when I used to go on holiday, I used to not feel great on holiday, and I think it was anxiety and stuff. So anyway, that was all fine. That wasn't a problem. It was like I was sailing through life. I worked in a gym as a personal trainer, and I always thought I was very confident because I used to stand up in front of groups of people in a class, you know, 30 people on stage, take a fitness class, and I loved it. And I was never ever would have labelled myself as an anxious person. I knew people had said they suffered anxiety, but as I mentioned in the beginning, I didn't have a clue. I just thought they were nervous people. And I used to take spinning classes, fitness classes, being in front of people all the time, and people always said to me, obviously you're a very confident person, because, you know, they say I couldn't go in front of a class. I couldn't go in front of a class and do a class in front of all these people, so you must be really confident. So I sort of thought I was confident, and I didn't think anything would ever change, really. So that's a bit of the backstory. So this is where it all changed, and you sort of label your life before anxiety and after anxiety. That's how I see it, because I remember the day it happened. Then after that, you're always it changes you slightly. So I left a job I was in. I've been in it for what, 12 years, something like that. And so I was employed as a personal trainer, and I still do personal training now, but I was employed as a personal trainer. I worked at a leisure centre here in Guernsey, and I wasn't enjoying it that much. A lot of things had changed in the job, and I decided I wanted to do my own business, okay, as be a self-employed personal trainer. So so I decided to hand my notice in, and it didn't go really that well. It wasn't an easy leave. There's a lot of stuff happened, and I ended up not working my notice. I just literally had a meeting, and I said I wanted to go because things had got a bit. I wasn't comfortable going anymore, going into work, and I left, and I didn't even do my month's notice. I think I was there, I handed my notice in, and 2 days I was gone. And bear in mind, I'd been there, how many years? What, maybe 12, 13 years maybe? So I didn't realise that that had become like my sort of, becomes a bit of your life, doesn't it? And so I left, and I set up my business, and I was only doing my business a very short amount of time. And we went on a cruise, me and Fallon. We had a cruise booked. It was an Indian Ocean. Was it around the Indian? It was going to be around India and stuff. Started at Dubai, and I was fine. You know, it was a bit of a change for me doing my own business, but yeah, I was alright with it. Then I must admit, on the cruise, I started to feel a bit odd. Just like in a bit of a weird mood, but yeah, didn't really know. So we went for a workout in the gym. I remember doing a workout with Fallon in the gym, and I was feeling a bit like on edge, I would say. Nothing major. Then I think it was that night, we were on the cruise ship, we were in bed, and all I can describe is that it was a humongous storm the cruise ship hit. It was like, I mean, bear in mind, I've been on cruises before, and never experienced anything like this. It was like, the ship was just rolling, like huge, rolling from side to side. And in bed, I remember it was pitch black, and I was like, you were rolling in bed. And it was thudding, and there was noises, and it was like awful. And I remember getting really stressed about it, thinking, I was like saying, I hate this, I don't want to be on the ship anymore, it's like horrible. And I think I don't remember having a panic attack then. I possibly might have had a slight panic attack then. The next day I woke up and I just felt really not well. I was awful. This was anxiety starting, and I didn't want to be on the ship anymore. I really had a bit of a meltdown, and we had to get off. And we had to get off the cruise ship. Didn't even completely. We had got off. Was it India? Sri Lanka? But I'd been, just before we got off, I went to the ship's doctor, because Fallon says, you're really not well. I was feeling really ill, and I was shaking. I couldn't stop shaking, and I think I'd had like a panic attack, and my adrenaline was going, and I just couldn't handle it. And I went to the doctor, and she was like, she said, "Oh, are you scared of ships?" And all that. I was like, "No, I'm not scared of ships. I've been on ships before." I think it was looking back, this all stems to me leaving my job, but I didn't know that at the time, and I was like shaking, and awful, just really horrible. She wouldn't give me any medication on the cruise ship. All she gave me is a sleeping tablet. This is how it all started, and she said in the end, "I think you need to get off the ship," because she said, "I don't think we're going to be at sea for like 3 or 4 days. And if you can't handle being on the ship, you're going to be stuck in the middle of the ocean." So we had to get off the ship. We cut the cruise short. We were at Sri Lanka. We stayed at a hotel in Sri Lanka, and I was just not right. My head was just awful. I felt just terrible. So we come back to Guernsey, and from that day on, I never felt right again. The anxiety, it got in it. It's scary. It's quite scary. I got back. I started to go back to work, and I was struggling to even do my job. Right. So I mean, imagine. You got to remember, I got on the cruise ship fine, and I got off the cruise ship completely ruined. I couldn't even. I mean, I used to struggle doing my classes. I all of a sudden I couldn't be in front of people. I couldn't even talk to anyone. Inside, my heart rate was pounding. I was shaking, feeling just terrible. So I went to the doctor here in Guernsey. And I told her, and I remember saying to the doctor, I'm feeling like, I was so like anxious and worried. And I remember my hand was shaking like this. The doctor, it was shaking. I said, I can't stop my hand shaking. And it was obviously adrenaline. And this was like weeks after the cruise ship. I was still like not over it at all. And obviously you're wondering what's wrong with you. So she gave me some medication. It was antidepressants and obviously anxiety medication. And I didn't really want to take it, but I started taking a bit of it. For me, I don't think it wasn't what I needed. I know obviously why I got given it, but I didn't want to sort of start taking it stupidly. I don't know why, but I didn't. So I took it a little bit, I think, and I battled on. And this just wasn't work. It was at home. It was awful. I just didn't feel myself at home ever. I was having, I'd wake up, and my worst thing was I'd wake up at night having a panic attack. I was panicking, and I think it's because all of a sudden I wasn't able to go back to my old job. I think it was a panic that I'd left, and maybe I shouldn't have left, and it was awful. I think it was all to do with my work, actually. But I'm just saying how bad I got. And if you can relate to this, leave a comment. Obviously, leave as many comments as you like. And I was in bed, waking up for full-blown heart pounding, soaked in sweat, feeling like I was going to be sick. And this happened for a long time. And I would get up, work exhausted. I have to do my personal training, I have to do my classes. And I remember training people thinking I just felt so ill. I just didn't feel well. And I was pretending I was fine, and I wasn't. And actually pretending you're okay when you're not, if you've ever had that, you'll know how exhausting that is. I was pretending I was fine. Inside I was really not well. And went on for a long time. And one Sunday morning I had to take a fitness class. I had to cancel it. So I couldn't face the class. I couldn't be in front of people. Bearing in mind I'd done that my whole life. For like 12 years, and like that, I lost all my confidence. I lost all my confidence. I couldn't stand up in front of anyone. And God, thinking back, it was awful. Now I haven't really thought about it for a while, but I considered leaving my job and doing another job where I didn't have to be in front of people anymore. I don't know if anyone actually noticed, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if my class ever noticed, because I was quite good at acting. You get very good at pretending you're okay. Personal training, I was feeling headaches all the time. Feeling very dizzy. My big symptom, I was dizzy all the time. My head, I used to feel so unbalanced and dizzy. And I was taking like Nurofen, which is ibuprofen. I was thinking I had headaches, and it was all the anxiety. I lost quite a bit of weight as well at one point, looking back at a picture. I lost a lot of weight because I just lost my appetite. And I just battled on, and in the end, I went to a therapist, and you talked to him about it all, and it was okay, but it was nothing I hadn't said to Fallon. I went to a therapist because I was still like drove in the snow to a therapist. I remember it was snowing. I had to drive into town. And I didn't want to go to the therapist, by the way. Fallon made me go. She said, you're going. Because she was obviously, you're not right. And went to therapist. She was very good. And it just continued. I mean, talking years. Years I wasn't feeling right. And in the end, you just start thinking you're never going to feel normal again. Because I was like, I'm not normal. I said to the therapist, I said, oh look, I feel like I've lost my identity. I think leaving my job, she explained that was how you identified yourself, and that's gone, and now you're like, I was lost. I said to the therapist I was lost, and I didn't know who I was anymore. It's really weird to say that, but like my personality, which I've got back now, thank God, that went. I didn't feel like I had a personality anymore. I didn't know who. I said to the therapist, I don't really know who I am anymore, and I can't believe I actually said that, but it was so true. And she said that's a very common thing to say. So I went to a few therapy sessions. That was good. I come away with a pounding headache every time. And she said quite a few things that really helped. Like, you know, she said to me, "You're not your thought," because I said I have these thoughts going around my head all the time, like really negative thoughts. Nothing serious, but like just feeling not good. And she said, like, "You got to remember, Ross," the therapist said to me, "you are not your thoughts, you're separate." And that just relieved me so much. It's like, my thoughts are not me. She said, "You're still yourself, your thoughts are separate to you." And you know, she gave me some techniques about thoughts. Just imagine their cars driving past on a motorway or a freeway, and as a car comes along, that's a thought, and as it drives off, thought goes in the distance. So it gives you techniques of letting go, of like thinking negative things. And I think getting comfortable with my new job really helped. So for me, it was the therapist said it was a change, big change in my life. It's triggered it off, which was my job. But no idea how bad it would make you. I mean, I didn't have a clue what was going to happen when I left my job. I thought I was just leaving and going to be fine. I had no idea what was going to happen, how it affected me. And that's coming from someone who thought they were quite confident. It literally shatters you. You're not the same person anymore. I couldn't go out for meals anymore. Couldn't went out for a meal, I had to leave because couldn't be around people. Awful time, you feel very trapped and very not good at all. Then all of a sudden it started getting better, and it wasn't anything particular. I think I just got a bit more happy with my job. And you do get belts of it. I do get, like, you know, a little bit of anxiety, but you learn like that it's not to be scared of. And when I started to learn that, do you know what I used to say to myself when I used to feel anxiety coming on in the end, and my heart rate pounding and sweating over nothing? It would just come on. I was worried about anything. I remember saying to myself, "Do your worst, because nothing's gonna happen." And it's weird, but like, you get anxiety and you get worried that you're gonna not be well, or you'll be sick, you feel ill, or you're gonna pass out because you're dizzy. And my therapist said to me, "How many times have you been sick, and how many times have you passed out?" And I said, "I never have." And she said, "There you go. So what are you worried about?" And that little thing, see, I even remember it now. It just triggered, and I thought, that's true. I'm worried about something that hasn't ever happened, which is what anxiety is, isn't it? It's worrying about something that hasn't happened. So when I used to now I get it, I'm just like, yeah, go on. I don't fight it. I don't try and like, I just go, yeah, heart rate's pounding, I'm feeling nervous. Let it, go for it. And I swear, it goes within 20 seconds, it's gone. Because you're not scared of it, you almost beat it. If you're not scared of it, it can't get you. And that's what it is. It's the worry about what's happening to me. When you don't know, when your heart's pounding, when you're sweating, you think, what the hell's going on? I was worried. I'd never experienced something like it. But now I've had it so many times, I just go, yeah, it's anxiety again. It's nothing, it's not going to hurt me. And it goes. It's like, you got no place in me anymore. You've been here, you've done it, you've done your worst, I'm still here. Go for it. You know? Take care, see you again soon.